Since the arrival of the dingo about 5,000 years ago, dogs have played an integral role in Aboriginal life. But now large packs of aggressive dogs are a big problem in many Northern Territory communities. It's linked to overcrowding and a lack of services. A team of Territory vets is working to bring the situation under control.
Dogs in Indigenous communities are pretty much out of control because there's overpopulations.
When you have a look at the conditions that some dogs are kept in, these things just wouldn't be allowed to happen in what you might consider mainstream Australia.
In Darwin's largest town camp, the Bagot community, work is underway to get the dog population under control. Veterinary surgeon Dr Stephen Cutter is giving the dogs bread laced with medicine to help kill parasites. He says dogs are integral to the lives of Aboriginal people.
There's a spiritual aspect to it. You know, dogs are sacred in some communities, but having said that, most of the time people keep dogs because they're pets and they're friends in the same way that anybody else does.
Because those tattoos?
Dr Cutter checks the dog's ears for a tattoo to see if they've been desexed.
But if they're not desexed, do you want us to desex them? It's free, all free. Just so they don't keep having puppies,
And there is a lot of talk and not enough action. We need to organise something happening for animal welfare and for animal management, for animal health, so that the people in Indigenous communities live safely and healthily. We use this product called ivermectin, which is an internal and external antiparasitic.
Jan Allen is part of the surgical team that's operating on the dogs at Bagot. She works for an organisation called Animal Management in Rural and Regional Indigenous Communities, or AMRIC. The group sends vets into remote areas and focuses on educating people about animal management. Jan Allen says the dog problems stem from massive overcrowding in Aboriginal communities.
The ratio of people to dogs is the same as in any urban community, but the fact that there's might be 25 people in a household means that there's way too many dogs concentrated in that household.
I mean, there's a couple of houses here that's got not 10, I'd say you try 20.
20 people living in the house.
Bagot resident Helen Fijo Frith is keen to get her dogs checked out by the vet.
I was thinking, what the hell is going on?
She says there's only meant to be 2 dogs per household in the community, but that's rarely the case. Most houses have at least 5 dogs. Helen Fijo Frith says people need to control their animals.
Like I said, when they bite you, that's the time to be getting rid of. The dog's got to go. I mean, even though some of them put up a little bit of argument, people put up arguments about it, but you can't have your dog running around biting people everywhere.
In Northern Territory Aboriginal communities, people are 20 times more likely to be attacked by a dog than anywhere else in the country.
So the dog had sort of regrouped with a pack of animals and came at me a second time and lunged towards my chest, and it was at that point that I picked up the stick and hit this dog, and it sort of did a few tumbles and limped off down the road, and I limped off to the clinic, the local community clinic.
Criminal lawyer Eugene Schofield was attacked by a camp dog during a work trip to Maningrida. The dog bit his ankle, but it could have been far worse if he hadn't fought off the pack. Mr Schofield says something needs to be done before someone more vulnerable gets seriously hurt.
These dogs might have the ability to viciously attack and indeed kill a small child or somebody who isn't of that greater stature.
People can't jog, can't cycle in communities, and children often have to find a safe way of, say, getting to school because there'll be households with cheeky dogs.
The responsibility of animal management lies with shires and local councils. But when shires were amalgamated in 2008, animal management laws were basically non-existent.
The shires, a lot of them inherited no bylaws or they're having to promulgate their own.
Many shires say they need more funds and resources to do the job properly.
With the minimum funds they get, unfortunately, animal management comes at a pretty low priority.
It is important to remember that the shires have access to $20 million of special purpose grants to apply specifically for core services. Naturally, there is always a requirement for more money, and I'm very conscious as the Minister for Local Government, and certainly in regards to animal management across the Northern Territory, that we do need to concentrate more in this area.
At Bagot, the team is doing what it can to control the dog population. Jen Allen says the Northern Territory Health Department should take over the responsibility of animal management. She says human health is at risk, and the situation is only going to get worse if action isn't taken.
Rabies, for example, is just across the border over in Indonesia, and it's spread to Bali this year. If we don't get the dogs under control, it's not an if, it's a when.